Chapter 103. Pervert 2. Moreover, from the respectful looks from the surrounding people, it could be seen that this person's identity was not as simple as an ordinary foundation-building cultivator. However, this youth's complexion was sallow, and there were thick dark circles under his eyes. His body was skinny, and he looked like he had been hollowed out by alcohol and sex. There was also a hint of lasciviousness in his eyes. He stood at the bow of the ship, wearing a white hat with a character embroidered on it. This character was very strange and emitted an indescribable pressure. The dark purple doused robe that caused countless people to go crazy was extremely large on him. When the wind blew past him, the robe would make a whooshing sound as though it would blow away with him. He seemed to know how weak he was, so when he walked out, he was enjoying the respect from the disciples on the shore while hugging to cloaked women as support. One of the women was holding a crystal bottle that contained various nourishing substances. She was feeding them to him one mouthful at a time. These two women weren't old, and their appearances were quite beautiful. Their green eyes revealed a seductive charm. As the sea breeze blew, their long hair fluttered in the wind, revealing their tall and curvy figures under their cloaks. Their large breasts, plump butt, and ridiculously thin waists coupled with their pure faces caused them to emit waves of primal urges. Their clothing style was very bold. Their hot curves and fair skin that looked extremely soft and delicate were revealed to all the disciples, causing them to subconsciously neglect the glands on their cheeks. They let the youth hold them. Amidst their shyness, laughter echoed. "We pay our respects to the Third Highness." The respectful voices on the shore grew even louder. Xu Qing stared at the youth on the ship. He felt that without the support of the two women, the youth would collapse. This made him feel very strange and incredulous. He looked at the two beautiful women again, and his gaze narrowed slightly. He could sense danger from these two women, so his gaze quickly swept past them. He saw that other than the guards on the ship, there were many people in black robes. The faces of these people were the same as the two women. They had green eyes and glands on their cheeks. All of them gave off extraordinary cultivation fluctuations. Other than them, there was also a young man who was about the same age as Xu Qing. His clothes were very luxurious, and his green eyes contained a hint of coldness as he glanced at the shore. He also had glands on his cheeks. Xu Qing looked at these features. This was the second time he had seen creatures that were similar to humans, but different. However, from the reactions of the other disciples in the surroundings, they didn't seem to be surprised. Clearly, this species of non-humans wasn't rare. He quickly retracted his gaze and stopped looking. Just as he was about to leave, the youth who was being supported by the two women laughed as the ship got closer. "Although we encountered a storm on our trip this time around, our harvest wasn't bad. Junior brothers and sisters, you will get a share." As soon as he finished speaking, a large number of followers on the ship immediately leapt up. With a wave of their hands, palm-sized scales flew toward everyone on the shore. One flew towards Xu Qing as well. When he saw the scale flying over, he raised his hand and caught it. The first thing he felt was that it was slippery and cold. After that, he squeezed it slightly but was unable to crush it. His eyes slightly narrowed. He realized that these scales should be very extraordinary. At the same time, he understood why so many people had gathered on the shore. If every day was like this, there would be no need to worrying about money. Xu Qing looked at the scale. After he kept it, he thanked the Third Highness on the distant ship just like everyone else. Amidst the thanks, the large ship docked at its berth. The Third Highness first waved his hand at his fellow disciples on the shore, before slapping the butts of the two non-human race women heavily without worrying about others. The two women let out coquettish cries, and the skinny Third Highness started laughing evilly. The disciples saw this scene and lowered their heads one after another. Not many dared to boldly fix their gazes on the two non-human race women in front of the Third Highness. Xu Qing originally felt that there was nothing much to see, but he noticed that the expressions of the non-human race young man behind the two women seemed to contain some disdain. The Third Highness continued to flirt with the women and his attention seemed to be completely on their figures. And he didn't notice the expression of the non-human race young man behind him. "Little fairies, wait for me here. Don't leave the ship carelessly. Otherwise, if my master sees it, he'll scold me again, but I wonder if master has returned. How about this? I'll go take a look first. If he has returned, I'll come and play with you guys tonight." The two women seemed to be very fond of the Third Highness. They smiled charmingly and continued to flirt. Shortly after, the Third Highness coughed and took the crystal ball with nourishing substances before telling the guards on the ship, "Take everything down, be careful when moving them." Following his order, a large number of followers and guards carried out large boxes from the cabin. They were all sealed, so no one could see what was inside. Be careful when you move them. Also, record the video for me. This is prepared for the eldest senior brother who is in seclusion. He's a petty person. I won't let him try to extort me by saying that the item has been damaged. While laughing, the Third Highness cupped his fists at the surrounding disciples and walked down the ship in a majestic manner, heading in the direction of the seventh peak. As he left, the disciples on the shore retreated rapidly while being on guard against each other. An oppressive atmosphere permeated the air.